What is up, Sooner Nation? I am Casey Mallon, and you are now come on, get with me in a Sooner state of mind. Make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and Amazon Music. All that I am asking for is 10 gold dollars, and I could pay you back with one good hand. Sooner state of mind, family. What is good? Today was supposed to be a day where we talked about how the Sooners ruined Jackson Arnold's homecoming game with the OU defense sacking Arnold 9 times and coming up with 14 TFLs and holding Auburn to 67 yards on 35 carries or 1.9 per carry. Oh, and University of Oklahoma sophomore defensive lineman and defensive animal Jayden Jackson named Outland Trophy National Player of the Week, 2.5 sacks, 5 total tackles, destroying every Auburn Tiger in his path. And we were supposed to talk about John Mateer going 4 for 4 on that last drive and a 9-yard rushing touchdown to go ahead of those Auburn Tigers late in the fourth quarter. And about how the Auburn fan base has been in literal tears all week, crying all over X. Man, crying about Satania's touchdown grab in the second quarter, where the Sooners were accused of deception. This just in, football is deception. And we were going to talk about how David Stone is becoming a defensive war daddy right before our eyes, and how Grayson Halton absolutely dirted Jackson Arnold on that final Auburn drive, and how the best closer in the biz, R. Mason Thomas, went Lawrence Taylor, the OGLT, and flatlined JFA in the end zone for the safety to put that game away. And how completely awesome the home crowd was at that game. Such a great environment, loud and rowdy, just the way I likes it. Although I could have done without the FU JFA chant, but I get it. Sooner Nation is very unforgiving. But instead, just a brutal day for college football in the state of Oklahoma. We thought the Pokes firing Gundy would be the biggest story of the day. And unfortunately, it was not. On Tuesday, University of Oklahoma head football coach Brent Venables announced quarterback John Mateer would undergo surgery on Wednesday to address a right hand injury that he sustained in Saturday's win over Auburn. It looked like it happened in the first quarter, which means Mateer played the rest of that game with a broken throwing hand. But BV also said the expectation is Mateer will turn to action sometime this season. Said, quote, after consulting with the medical experts, it became clear that surgery is the best option for John and his short-term and long-term future. He's extremely disappointed he will miss some game action, but is eager to correct the issue and move forward. Blah, blah, blah. He'll be aggressive with rehab and return to the field as quickly as possible. Like I said, that injury occurred in the first quarter of OU's 24-17 win over Auburn. Mateer played the entire game, finishing with 271 passing yards, 29 rushing yards, including that game-winning touchdown drive in the fourth quarter, capped with that 9-yard TD run with under 5 minutes in the game, giving the Sooners a lead they would not relinquish. Not to mention, Mateer finished the game 11 for 11 with the broken throwing hand. Come on. That's crazy talk. BV also said sophomore Michael Hawkins Jr. will start OU's next game against Kent State on October 4th. Quote, we have all the confidence in the world in Michael and are excited for this opportunity for him to lead our offense while John recovers. He had some big moments for us last season as a true freshman, It's gotten better and better. I'm proud of the work Michael's put in and the progress he's made, and know he will attack this opportunity to help lead our football team. Nonetheless, it's coming at a pretty bad time. Our Sooners are 4-0 and ranked 7th in the country, 10 in the coaches poll. Matier second nationally with over 351 yards of total offense per game, and he's rushed for and thrown at least one touchdown in 10 straight games, people. It's the nation's longest active streak, tied with former Louisville quarterback, former NFL MVP Lamar Jackson for the third longest streak since the 2000 season. Now, Pete Thamel says the broken bone in the hand suffered in the first quarter is estimated timeline after surgery to be about a month. Flying out to LA right down the street for Dr. Stephen Shin to perform the surgery. It's considered one of the country's leading hand wrist surgeons. He's worked on Drew Brees, Steph Curry, and Mike Trout. I guess that's the right person that we want to do the surgery there. And including Thamel, most of the info we've seen out there has the timeline for 2 years return, about 4 weeks. Some people are hoping it's going to be quicker. I'll hope for it, but I'm not going to get my hopes up. But if there's anything to be stoked about in this situation, losing Matier, is that at least the first week that he's going to miss will be a bye week for the Sooners. Coming at a really good time. The Sooners also needed to get some other guys healthy as well, especially on the offensive line up front. And this will also give Hawkins and Arbuckle some time to cater the game plan to what Hawkins likes to do. And Hawk is also going to get the benefit of being coached up by Matier. I'm sure Matier will be heavily involved with helping get Hawk prepared for these starts and helping him get more dialed into the Arbuckle offense. That is going to be a tremendous asset that as a true freshman last year, Hawkins did not have when he was just thrown into the fire. He started 4 games last year for the Sooners, passed for almost 800 yards and 3 touchdowns. And I don't think anybody will forget that touchdown run against Auburn in his first road start last year. Pretty sweet. And that game ended pretty sweet as well. He does have some similarities to Matier, especially with that run game. So that should be okay. But Hawk is going to have to be able to move the ball through the air, especially because the Sooners haven't really been able to get the run going besides the quarterback runs. So this will be a great time to try and figure all of that out. With this week off, can we get the run game looking like we need it to? The freshman Blaylock has looked pretty explosive at times, but he only had 11 carries last week for 13 yards. Not good. I haven't gone back and re-looked at all those runs to see if he's missing some stuff, which probably he is, and other stuff just not getting blocked up. But it's been, in and out of that offensive line, very similar to last year all this season. I don't think we've had the same starting 5 for back-to-back games. Maybe we get some guys healthy in this bye week, and then we can start getting some cohesion up front. And maybe that'll help get the run game going where we really need it to be. The only other back to get a carry last week was Javonte Barnes, and he only had 1. We didn't even see Xavier Robinson get any touches last week. But we're going to need him. And Jayden, hello, where's this cat been? They got to find a way to step up and contribute way more than they have so far this season, especially with the gauntlet that the Sooners will be facing during Matier's absence. Hell, it was going to be tough enough with Matier. Now it's going to be even more challenging without dude. And it starts getting real after Kent State. The Sooners will be taking on the hated ones on October 11th. So if this injury does keep Matier out for at least 4 weeks, hopefully 4 weeks is worst case scenario. That's the bye coming up this week. Texas, 2 S's on the 11th. At South Carolina, October 18th. Then hosting Ole Miss on October 25th. Besides Kent State, those are tough squads. Sooners then are at Tennessee on November 1st, and then they get another bye week after that Tennessee game before they finish the season at Bama, hosting Mizzou and hosting LSU. That is brutal, people, let me tell you. But if the Sooners can figure out a way to pull 9 wins out of this schedule, I think they can still get into the playoffs. Now, luckily, we have one of, if not the best defenses in all of college football, and we are going to need to lean on them. And hopefully, they can start creating some turnovers. As good as they've been this year, they still do not have one stinking turnover, and they're still completely dominating. Now, if those turnovers start coming in, baby, that would be sweet. So hopefully that changes sooner than later. You know, the other thing is Hawk is a dog, baby. He responded very well to all the adversity he faced last year. A true freshman getting his first start on the road at Auburn, went in there and got that dub. Started with that huge touchdown run. Now, obviously, got some help with the Kip 6 to seal that thing, but it's a team game. And if this team steps up, Michael Hawkins Jr. can get it done, baby. Also, what I love about this dude, he could have hit the portal when the Sooners announced they were bringing Mateer in. He did not hit the portal. Back in December 24, when they found out OU was adding Mateer, and they asked Hawkins about it, he said, I think we need a guy. We need a guy in that room. John Mateer is a great guy. I talked to him at breakfast, and I'm really looking forward to that competition. How refreshing is that in a day where players, if they don't get their way, they jump ship, they bail, they're not willing to work through adversity. They want that instant gratification. Earning it, not a priority anymore. That wasn't the deal with Hawkins. This dude is a legacy, and he loves being a Sooner. And there will be at a point where he is going to have to make a play in one of these games, but he's not going to have to do everything on his own. And I think this dude has been putting in the work since last year. I don't think that work's ever stopped. And he loves a good challenge, and he loves being a Sooner, and he's getting his opportunity. And you know this dude has been staying ready. And for this season to go the way we all want it to go, all the Sooner State of Mind family, we were going to need a little Sooner magic anyway. So let's dial it up, people. Let's keep the faith. Sooner State of Mind family, do your collective thought processing. Let's manifest this season going the way we want it to, regardless who's back there calling plays. This upcoming game against Kent State just got a whole lot more interesting. For me, I can't wait to see how not only Hawkins responds, but how this whole team responds. Going to get a little breather, get some rest, get a little training in to get feeling better, and then we're going to rock and roll a week from Saturday. More college football news in the Sooner State. Mike Gundy, the second longest tenured FBS head coach, has been fired by Okie State, effective immediately. Gundy's kind of been the best thing about that program for last 30 years, maybe more. Got Gundy in his 21st season leading the Cowboys, trailing only Kirk Ferentz, the Iowa coach, since 1999. Gundy's exit's coming 4 days after Okie State fell to 1-2 in a 19-12 loss to Tulsa last week. Ugh. And then shortly after that loss, Gundy said his 100% intention was to remain with the program beyond the 2025 season. He said, I'm under contract here for, I think, 3.5 years. When I was hired here to take this job, ever since that day, I put my heart and soul into this, and I will continue to do that until at some point, if I say I don't want to do it, or if somebody else says, we don't want you to do it. And at times this season, it felt like he didn't really want to do it. He's not too keen on the direction that college football is going with NIL and such. Gundy was set to make $6.75 million in 2025, and he's going to get a cool $15 million payout upon his departure. Offensive coordinator Doug Meacham has been named interim head coach. And really, Gundy turned this program around. Overall record of 170-90. Led the Pokes to all 8 of their 10-win seasons. And the Big 12 championship a couple years ago, they got a little help, but they got there. And I don't remember what year. It was a handful of years ago when they lost that game in overtime to Iowa State. They lost one game by a field goal, and that kept them out of the playoffs. A bunch of crap. Not that I ever root for them, but they should have been in the playoff that year. And so far, it's not going so well. Last couple of years, they've lost 11 of their past 12, losing every conference game last year. And this move also triggers a 30-day window for players to leave the program via the transfer portal. And hours after news of Gundy's departure, in-state running back, you might remember this guy, Caden Jones, pulled his commitment from Okie State. So he's the first to jump from that 2026 class. We'll see if there will be more. And it's just been a tough transition. They're not going the NIL route. More than 60 new players added to this 2025 roster. They beat UT Martin week 1. That's good. They got absolutely curb stomped by Oregon 69-3. And then they come back and lose to Tulsa and the brass at Okie State. They had enough. Now, the word is also that the school gave Gundy the opportunity to announce his retirement at the end of the season and let him coach the remainder of the game. But Gundy said hell no to that. But my favorite thing Gundy ever said.
Where are we at in society today? Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Woo! You guys remember that? Yeah, classic. So Gundy was never short for words, but he's going to take that cool 15 mil and probably do some fishing and some hunting or whatever the hell he does away from football. Take a little break, and I'm sure we're going to see him show up somewhere else. He ain't 40 anymore. He's 58, but that's plenty young in the coaching world, so we'll see what happens. Okie State opens Big 12 play against Baylor on Saturday. That ain't no good. But now that Gundy is leaving the program, they have got to get their NIL game in order, and they have to knock it out of the park or score a touchdown, whatever you want to call it, with the new hire. The good news is if they do get their NIL going, this is a really good job in a conference they've had a lot of success in. And with the news coming now in late September they can get out there and start meeting with potential candidates and let everybody know that this job is available. Most of these other teams will fire their coaches at the end of the season. So they get a head start on that, but they've got to figure out that NIL situation up there, get some money, get creative, and they've got to nail this hire. On a side note, Mike Gundy's record as head coach of Oklahoma State versus our Sooners in the Bedlam Series. 4 wins and 15 losses. Too bad, so sad. All right, hopefully there's no more bad news out there and we can look forward to the future. And today we have a better idea of what that future is going to look like. Beginning next season, the SEC will play a 9-game conference schedule, with each team playing 3 annual opponents and the other 6 games against conference opponents that will rotate. There will also be single standings, meaning non-division structuring, no East, no West, etc., etc. And all SEC schools, and I love this, must also schedule at least one non-conference game from either the Big 12, the Big 10, the ACC, or the Fighting Irish. I feel like this is a win. Now, while this does make the conference schedule even more brutal, it also makes for better games. Each week already kind of feels like a playoff game in this conference, so this will make that feeling even more so, and I am here for it. Now, the SEC just announced officially who those annual opponents will be for each team. Unofficially, it was announced yesterday, but we waited to make sure it was legit. And with all the other news that came out today, turned out to be good planning for Sooner State of Mind. As for these Sooners, Texas, 2 S's, will be one of the 3. Totes obs on that one. But the other 2 teams will be Missouri and Ole Miss. So that's a pretty good threesome there. I thought that maybe that we would go Arkansas, and there were some rumors of Florida being in that mix too. Could have gone either of those directions, but Ole Miss is kind of interesting. Arkansas, it's got some brutality. Missouri, Texas, LSU. How about Auburn, Georgia, Bama, and Vandy? Bama's got Auburn, Tennessee, and Mississippi State. Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Kentucky. The Dogs have Auburn, Florida, and South Carolina. Kentucky's got South Carolina, Tennessee, and Florida. LSU has Arkansas, Ole Miss, and A&M. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Bama, and Vandy. Missouri's got Arkansas, A&M, OU. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU, and Oklahoma. South Carolina, Georgia, Kentucky, and Florida. Tennessee has Bama, Vandy, and Kentucky. Texas has A&M, Arkansas, and OU. A&M has Texas, LSU, and Mizzou. And Vandy's got Tennessee, Mississippi State, and Auburn. Pretty good matchups for everybody there. A couple are more brutal than the others, but you never know how it's going to be from week to week. But they wanted to protect traditional rivalries, competitive fairness, and rotational frequency, ensuring a home and away balance with a Power 4 non-conference opponent. Sankey wanted opponents to make sense geographically as well, and I think they accomplished this, making things a little easier rivalry-wise for fan bases to attend road games a little closer to home. And let's be honest, though, the playoffs will be expanding soon, so more teams will be getting in, and that's a good thing. So in the meantime, if I can get more killer regular season games and still get a shot at that postseason, I am all for it. And this totally stokes me out for 2026. But there's still a ton of football left for the 2025 season, including a handful of radical Week 5 games, people. Let me get a sip real quick. Break it out Friday night. Number 24 ranked TCU 3-0 at Arizona State. Them Sun Devils are 2-1 on the season, and they're in the 2.5-point favorite at home. Get out there on the FanDuels, people. Make a little money on this. Get some of that action. And then on Saturday, Tebow's USC Trojans coming in ranked 21st, 4-0 on the season. They're 6.5-point favorites at number 23, Illinois, who's coming off of that beatdown at the hands of Indiana. That was brutal. Jedemiah Ava and Makai Lemon. Remember that name? They're taking that SC offense on the road. Let's see how they respond to it. Number 22, Notre Dame. They're 3.5-point favorites at Arkansas. Notre Dame needs some good opponents down the stretch here. Arkansas losing to Memphis does not help the Irish's argument to get into the playoffs at the end of the season, because there's probably going to be a lot of two-loss teams there, and they won't have a chance at a conference championship game to show anything. So they really need SC to kind of win out, and hopefully they get a little luck in there. But I think it's going to be a tough road for the Domers. Oh, baby, how about this? Number 3, LSU. That's undefeated LSU. At number 13, an undefeated Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin's boys are 1.5 favorites in that game. LSU's finally got their defense sorted out. Can they get the offense sorted out? And Ole Miss is kind of rebuilding. Lost a ton of players after last year, but they got the number 3 ranked team in the country coming to town, and they're 1.5 favorites. So that is going to be an awesome game, and someone's going to get a leg up in the SEC. Then we have Auburn 3-1 coming off that brutal loss on the road to the Oklahoma Sooners. Still tears flowing about that one, but they're at number 9, Texas A&M. A&M 3-0 on the year. They're 6.5-point favorites in that one. Auburn better hope they win. They don't have any tears left for next week after all the belly aching and crying they've done all week. Good Lord. Ooh, how about this for the Big Ten, baby? Number 6, Oregon 4-0 at Penn State. Penn State ranked 3rd in some, ranked 4th in some. They're 3.5-point favorites on this one at home. And Franklin's got to get this. It's the best squad he's had in a long time. Got Knowles, stole from Ohio State, got the defensive coordinator. It's got no excuses. Got the Ducks flying all the way east. Normally they go south for the winter. They're going east. It's going to be a rocking crowd. Can Penn State finally get it done against a high-ranked opponent? We will see. Are you kidding me? Number 17, Alabama. The 2-1 Alabama Crimson Tide at number 5, and undefeated Georgia Bulldogs. Them dogs are 2.5-point favorites. And oh my goodness, if Bama drops to 2-2, the sky will be falling down there in Tuscaloosa. It's going to be rough going there and try to beat them dogs. But if they get that win, it will be a signature win for the Burr. And that's exactly what the Tide and that fan base need right now. But boy, that is easier said than done. And what a great slate of games we have, people. Like I said, Sooners on a bye week. We can take it. Hopefully Mateer's surgery goes well, and then we can get an updated timeline between now and when we take the field against Kent State next week. And of course, we'll be back to preview that game. But we get to enjoy a stress-free weekend of just watching some football. And that is a good thing. Speaking of good things, head on over to Believe.com. That is BLEAV.com. Go to shows. Type in Sooner State of Mind. Yeah, that's Sooner State of Mind. And you are locked, people. Besides that great Sooner State of Mind content, we have a ton of good stuff going on over there. Every team, every topic, everywhere, Believe.com. And if you want to watch Sooner State of Mind, head on over to YouTube and search the Football Dudes. We are there. And while you're on the YouTubes, go ahead and subscribe. Do you like the NFL? We got the Trend Zone over there too, and it's giving you all you need for your Sunday action. Sooner State of Mind, it's got you covered for college. Trend Zone's got you covered for the NFL. My name is Casey Mallon, and I am in a Sooner State of Mind. Sooner State of Mind.